Yeah.
Can we start it up?
Whatever. You want me to start?
I got it. I'm feeling extra dope today. I got it.
Extra dope.
I feel like I started off like everyone.
You do, man. I got to take over some shit.
What are you?
Switch over.
What are you smoking?
Padron. I love these. He died recently.
Yeah, I saw it, but he was what? He was like 90 something, wasn't
92,
he? Yeah.
All right, I'm rolling.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Light Up and Lab. I'm your co-host, Tony T. Rowe Roberson. I got my better half.
Why you use your government?
Because that's my name, man. She wanted to be.
No, it's just funny.
My name's Anthony Roberson from the whitest part of town. Listen, we got my co-host, Mr. Terry Jones.
What's going on?
Yeah, and then we have our fabulous guest, man, Mr. John Knight, fellow comedian and traveling extraordinaire, cigar connoisseur.
Cigar guy. Yes, that's why I'm here. Because you couldn't get a Steeler this week. Couldn't get any of the Steelers.
Hey man,
They're having what the OTAs this week, right?
yes, your knowledge is just as meaningful and powerful to us. Though we were looking forward to having you on.
Yeah, I was looking forward to coming. And
Yo, we got to start off with what everyone's smoking on today. What are you smoking on first?
Legal Provider T52.
How's
Moved
the
from the
52?
number 9.
Oh, you like the 52?
I'm going to find out if I pass out before the end of the show.
I
love it.
He got so high off the one league.
The number
episode.
9. The number 9.
Yeah, we were having a deep conversation with Shoemaker, and he just stopped in the middle of it and said, "Yo, this thing got me so high right now."
I said, I'm messed up right now. I couldn't do it. It was one of those things where I just legit, I felt like I was smoking weed that episode.
I was smoking one time, smoking a Cuban, H. Upman on a ship. I was on a cruise, and I was it was a Cuban. I was sitting there talking to a guy, and I think I had one beer, and I got up to leave, and I was like, I got to sit back down. I was like,
Yeah. These things are potent.
Yeah.
You don't actually inhale them, but it still somehow gets into your bloodstream, correct?
How strong?
Yeah,
Or do you inhale?
I don't inhale. No, I never smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
What you smoking on, Joe?
I got an Oliva V.
Okay. You love those Olivas.
I like the Olivas. I like these. I like the Milanios. I like the O's. I like the Rocky Patels. I guess we should smoke Rocky Patel since we're in this place,
yeah,
right?
I love
Yeah,
this place.
that's what we should do.
Rocky Patel, Burn, and yeah, I'm gonna smoke some. Today I'm smoking a Padron in memory of Mr. Padron, who passed away recently, 92.
92.
Yeah, so the father of these cigars and these handmade cigars are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes the best. Those ones were the first ones. Now he's got all those anniversary and the
And
ones
they
that
make them like, this is one of the longer ones than smaller one. I got my dad one recently, and I love the way these are wrapped. I know these ones are Dominican they use on them. So
Yes.
Dominican is always the closest thing, in my opinion, to Cuban that you can get, unless you can get an actual Cuban. Nowadays you can get them, so
Yeah.
this is good. Hey, Joe, so what's going on with you, man? What's new? How's the cruise lines and everything?
Well, I haven't done any ships this year. Last one I did was December. But I'm working on my new blog site, whataggravates.me.net. Check it out, whataggravates.me.net. Yes.
So this is all things that piss John Knight off.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I started a few months ago, and the other day I had nothing. Didn't know what to write about, and I wrote about Neil Huntington came out this week, and this will be long in the past. This will be after the July fire sale when this comes out, right?
Okay,
So,
yes.
No, he mentioned the other day that they base their payroll is based on attendance, and I put out a thing that says it's not our fault about Bob Nutting, and boy, it's taken off. Everyone that's like gotten more shares than anything has for me. So
Well, that's a huge thing, man. That's a huge thing.
yeah.
No, I love these. What aggravates me because you're even on stage. You're a comic who uses like a lot of emotion whenever you talk about the things that bother you.
Yeah, well, that's where I get my material.
Yeah.
Just on the road, driving somewhere. Have you had this happen where we were on the highway and the people are going exactly the same speed right next to each other. Right. So I guess one guy has Wi-Fi and the other one's trying to steal it off him. I don't know what's going on.
That's what
Or they're there just to aggravate me.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I never understood that either. Like if people were paralleling.
Yeah, it's like you're going the same, but you're
Like
both
somebody
going the same
needs to speed
speed.
up or
Yeah,
something,
someone
yeah.
move over because John would like to come through.
Right.
Yeah, I get a lot of tickets that way. I got one. I found out. I don't know if you know this. Right outside of Wheeling, the speed limit goes from 75 to 55. Like in
Before you get to that tunnel.
yeah, yeah, it goes 75 to 55, which I wasn't aware of that until the police officer was explaining it to me.
Yeah, they probably.
Yeah, it's like yeah, they do. It's like,
They want to get that. They want to get that.
and then I also have out-of-state plates.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania guy, let's get him.
Yeah. So you have a long history in comedy, and me and you have had many conversations about what you feel is kind of ruining comedy. Now, for somebody who actually came up in the comedy boom era, like, what do you think needs to change in comedy right now as far as the booking? Are there any newer comics that you actually enjoy and believe, okay, that guy?
There are some I see. I don't know them all. There's a lot. I mean, for someone my age, it's tougher because they want to move. Let's bring up the new guys. But a lot of these guys don't have the time. They can't do the show. I could do, you know, what do you need? I go into a place like if I do fundraisers, you know, I show up. What do you need? You need, well, we need an hour clean. Got it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Got it. Whatever, you know, I can do it. And these guys, they're starting out. A lot of it now is, you know, that's why I started with social media. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to do social media now. They base bookings now on how many Twitter followers you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's the weirdest thing because I'm right on the cusp of that. I'm 42 years old, and it bothers me to post my every move on social media. Whereas that's the trend now, right?
You kind of have to.
You have to post everything. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So I'm in the bathroom right now. That's ridiculous to me, man. Like to post. And I'm a guy.
Yeah, I had corn for lunch.
Yeah, right. I don't post every day because I think it irritates people. But you know, I was told that people want to see that about your life. They're obsessed. They want to see what you're doing. I just can't bring myself to doing it, and I get that's how you get more followers. That's how you get.
You have to keep putting stuff out. You have to keep.
See, but I'm an old school. The way I was taught and learned comedy wasn't you got to go out and prove yourself on stage. Not because you're famous on Instagram or on Facebook. And I'm fighting myself over that. I get that's where the new world is going. But then you do shows. But I just did a show with someone. I don't want to name the person's name, but you can see that they don't have the time. They don't have the segues. They're not smooth. They're choppy. It's ridiculous. It looks. Well, I mean, it's like this. And I hate to say this, but it's kind of like this. It's like giving Donald Trump the job of being president. You can't make somebody headline and they're not even an MC.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's getting on my nerves about social media. I'm tired of arguing with the Trump supporters.
Yeah, oh man. But that's the thing now. And I kind of have a tendency now that I used to be like going crazy about it, but now it's no one you ever argue with on Facebook.
Well, you can't change their mind.
You're not going to change their mind.
Yeah, you can't change.
Nothing you say. So what's the point?
Well, I put out a thing last week when, and this will be old when it comes out, but when he said, when he went to North Korea, or we met with North Korea, and he said afterwards that he had talked to a lot of the parents of Korean veterans.
Yeah, Korean veterans.
Yeah, he said he talked to their parents, which I thought was, I mean, my dad was in Korea, he would be 84 if he was alive today, so his parents would be 120.
Yeah.
So you didn't talk to them, he just likes to talk out of his ass, and I put that out, and some guy just bashed me for being anti-Trump. I said, no, I just pointed out the fact that
No, the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you anti-anything, it just makes you knowledgeable about what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. He's saying I talked to parents of Korean War veterans. Yeah.
He had a seance.
You go pray.
Well, no, you know what? I think that's one of the weirdest things about where comedy's headed too is you're starting. It feels like there was once a time where you could just do material and be funny, and now if you have an opinion on anything outside of what people want you to have an opinion on, it seems to be a problem. Like you see it's either, I'm starting to see this in comedy, it's either a lot of guys are left, like fully left, or a lot of guys are like fully right. I know people had some issues with this Owen Benjamin dude with a lot of racist tirades he went on. And then, then you have guys who are against that. So just because you're against that now, it's almost as if you're being attacked, but you shouldn't be attacked.
Well, I don't do it. I don't do it on stage.
Well, yeah, even if you do it off stage, you know how it is.
Yeah, I know. Have you had this? There was a few shows I did this year where people, it was like online, the show's coming up, and people posted on Facebook, well, I hope nobody's going to come in and say anything bad about our president.
Yes.
Have you had that happen?
I just had a booker call me, and he wanted to book me in somewhere in Indiana, and he was talking about he didn't really want to book too many black comics because he didn't want them going on stage and being political and anti-Trump, which I found interesting because he's black. So it was just funny because I'm like, yo, that doesn't mean I'm going to come down there and bash this person just if I have comedic views on something, you know? And now it's just like you can't have comedic views on anything.
Well, my thing is this: funny is funny to me. If someone says something that against what I believe in, I'm not so headstrong in what I believe in that I can't find the humor in what you're saying.
Yeah.
You understand that? Does that make sense?
Well, I don't go on, if someone has a right-wing post, I don't go on there and try to change everyone's opinion.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
No. I look at it, I don't like it, I scroll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just scroll past.
I don't put an angry face or sad face or ha or wow. Wow. I don't do none of that. I just don't care that much to have anyone say anything to me specifically, because now if you do something like that, now people are like literally like looking you up, seeing where you work, and trying to report it to your job. That's the beauty about being a full-time comic. You can't say shit about me. What are you gonna do? Who you telling?
Well, you're seeing people lose sponsorships and stuff now.
That's when you get to that level.
Like how he has what aggravates me, and I enjoy the post, and a lot of people enjoy the post. If he says something like anti-Trump, and then now you have people going, don't support.
And that's a thing too. Don't support, and you lose half of your fan base or a quarter of your fan base.
Yeah.
Because you had a different political view, and it's so. I'm just tired of it, man.
Well, I did one last week about when they fired Bob Rogers from the Post Gazette.
Oh yeah.
Because because the Post Gazette's leaning more towards the right, and a lot of people that follow me said, we don't like you doing political stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess they come to me for relief from what's going on.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. I mean, there's always these political stances where people think that entertainers shouldn't have an opinion on politics or on things that are going on in the world. When we're human beings too, why wouldn't I have an opinion?
Yeah.
You may be against my opinion, but why wouldn't I have an opinion? Everyone has an opinion.
I agree with
Just
that.
like the kneeling of the flag. People have opinions on that. But I'm black, so I see what they're doing. It's just a difference of opinion.
Well, something,
like people, you have the right to believe what you want. I got the right to believe what I want. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that was blown out of proportion when Trump had to get involved with that.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
I think that stems from the fact that he wanted to be.
He wanted to have an NFL.
owner.
Yeah, he wanted to own a team.
They wouldn't let him.
Yeah,
so he's like, now I'll bash your brand. He's the president.
He's the bully that you slap in the face, and then he's like, I'm gonna get you back.
Hey, I'm gonna get you back.
My friend said the best way to describe him. Yeah, my friend said the best way to describe him. He's like the kid that yelled at you right before he was going in this house and locking the door.
Right. You can't get to him.
It's so weird, man, because I'm not even like fully anti of the guy, and it's like when you have the president of the United States, there's so much stuff that you're gonna like and that you're not gonna like. There were even things that I didn't like that Obama did, and it's just a weird.
There's a lot of things I didn't like that Obama did.
Yeah, we're in a weird place right now. So, John, like at this age and this point in your career, what do you feel like? Like, do you feel your comedic, like your material changing?
Yeah, you know what? I find I can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
I can say things to people I couldn't say before. Like if I'm working in an audience, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and you have no issues. You've gotten no backlash off
No,
of it.
I mean they laugh.
I got backlash. I tell a joke about someone being, it's not even someone, it's me, about me being disabled.
Oh, and yeah, that's
My closer.
which is a funny joke.
It's really, really funny bit, and people, I'll have people come up and like, my daughter is disabled, you know, and I'm like, I really wasn't making fun of your daughter. I was just telling you what I did when I got caught, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not personal, but people, they'll take something and they'll.
Well, I had a woman come up to me on a ship, and all I did, her daughter said something to me, and I could tell she had issues, and I just dealt with it, and I talked to her, and her sister got really upset, and the mother came up to me the next day and said, you know, my daughter is disabled, and you were picked. I said, well, she said something, and I said I treated her the way I would treat anyone that said something.
Right.
I said, and she said, but she's disabled. I said, why should I treat her different then?
See, and that's the thing. Have it one way or the other,
Yeah.
because if you didn't, they on any other accord, she might have a problem because you didn't.
Yeah,
you
or if I would
treat her
have, or if I said, oh, you know, if I would have acted like,
oh, poor baby.
poor
You're
baby.
just
But I just did.
another-
I treated her like
You fired
anybody
on her, probably,
else.
right?
She said something, I said something back. We were just having fun. It was nothing insulting. It was nothing. But her sister got upset that I shouldn't have talked to her the way I did because she's disabled. And I said, and the mother, I said, would you like me to treat her different? The mother says, you know what, you're right. So.
No.
And you have an interesting career too, because you've done. There's a lot of things that you've done, and you're very humble about it. I know you had, you do a lot of writing, which is a big thing for you.
You have a book. My
You have a book?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I'm still aggravated, but at least I didn't kill anybody.
At least I didn't kill anybody.
At least I didn't kill anybody. Yeah, it's a book. It deals with anger management because I started, and for months I said I want to write a book about anger management, and it was going to be something to help people. And then I just realized, you know what? I have too many anger issues myself, so I'll just write about the stupid things I've done that have gotten me into trouble. And people love the book.
Where can they get the book?
You can get it on whataggravatesme.net. Go to items for sale.
You know what? You're a Brandon. You're
Oh yeah,
Brandon
I know how to do this.
man.
Yeah.
So, did you have was there anything for both of you guys? Are you actually do you feel like the comedy's going to go into a good direction again as far as stand up, or does it feel like stand up's dying? Because I've been looking a lot, and all you see right now is a lot of internet comedy, a lot of skits. Vine is gone, so now it's Instagram, but that stuff's even dying down.
I see.
It feels like everything comes back full circle.
I feel like once the masses get a dose of the internet comics who are famous on social media and hey, this is the way you can make money with you being famous because you can put asses in the seats in Oklahoma City or Kansas City or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get a dose, those comics, that's gonna only run its circle for so long. The grinders, the people who I have 17 years invested. You know what I mean? How many years do you have?
I'll be 36 in November.
36
He's
years
been on stage
invested.
longer than I've been alive.
Yes.
See,
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Think about that. Eventually, those comics are the ones who have the time.
Yeah.
Those comics are the ones who have the knowledge. They're the smoothest on stage, the segues, the material, the whole bit. And these guys, it's just a fad right now. I feel like I don't feel like stand-up comedy is dying because you need laughter in this world.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever die.
To escape all the crap that we go through every day. You know what I mean? So I don't think the art form is dying. I think they tried something new, and they'll realize that's not really where it's at. And a comic is a comic, no matter.
Well, there's still clubs that book people just do shows that are funny. I'm doing
Based on talent.
Yeah. Like I'm doing. It's the Munster Performing Arts Center. He's got a big theater. Friend of mine books it, and he says, I just bring in funny acts, and people come out and they know. He says they know they're going to see a great show.
Right.
He says, I don't have to worry. He says because they've already got a subscription. People that buy tickets because they're members of the theater, and they come because they've been there before and they know it's going to be a quality show all the way around.
See, and that's what I feel like every club owner needs to get back to. instead of just trying to make the quick buck off of the fame.
Yeah.
Because you know what, that did do something to the brand of comedy. It did do something to people who support that are bringing these people to their town. Because you go and I hear people walking out like, oh, you were funnier than a headliner.
Yeah.
You get that.
That happens.
And well, there's a reason for that. I've been on stage a million more times than a headliner.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And TV kind of, I remember we talked about this, and you said, what was the channel that you said like was more so like, because TV kind of.
When the when the 80s, there was that was during the comedy boom. Comedy was on 24 hours a day. There was a girl I knew who was a waitress at a comedy club, Igby's in Hollywood, and 6 months later she was on Evening at the Improv because she decided to get into comedy. So there was a need. We need 7 people a night, 5 nights a week.
Oh wow.
And people would come up. I was in Vegas. I was working in Vegas, and a guy come up and said, he says, I watch a lot of TV. He says, when you do the TV shows, do they make you do it has to be about 7-Eleven? It has to be about men and women are different? I says, no, that's just because they have a lot of people that shouldn't be on television, and that's not material that they're doing. They're all doing the same crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and even if you do something different, when you're on TV, they chop your setup so much because these channels have to use. Like they have to use some of your comedy for internet content,
right?
And then they got to use it for like internet advertisement, and then they use your regular set for TV advertisement.
Yeah.
And then, by the time you see your set, you're like, yo, that's not how I would have pieced it together, but it's out of your hands. You just signed the paperwork and the producer.
Yes,
so
and that's what it is. Yeah. So now your set looks completely different.
Yeah.
Because when I don't know, you guys build a set. Like I go completely in order. So whenever I'm hosting, sometimes I have a hard time.
Breaking the order?
Taking clips out of a 45-hour long
like
set to put into a 10 because the way I build my set, it all streams.
Yeah,
along.
it's hard to get. And then when you're doing television, it's like 4.5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a great story. I don't know if you know A. Whitney Brown.
Yeah.
A. Whitney Brown. I was working with him. He had just done the Tonight Show the night before, and he's in. I was in Parkersburg, West Virginia, opening for him. He had just come off the Tonight Show, and that was his next gig, the next day.
Yeah.
And he told me the story. That was his first Tonight Show appearance. He had been 6 months earlier. He had been on Alan Thicke, and he was supposed to do 6 minutes. And they came back to his dress, and you have your 6 minutes worked out. And they came back and says, you know what, we're running late. You only have 4.5. And he was on his way to the stage. They told him, you only have 3. Wow. So now he had 6 minutes. Now he's only got 3. And he goes on, and it doesn't go well because now he's got to edit in his head, on television, on national television. And he's leaving, and his friend's with him, and he's just upset. And his friends, they're walking past Alan Thicke's dressing room, and there's a new pair of shoes sitting there. And his friend says, you know what? Screw him. Grab his shoes. He says, really? No. He says, no, he screwed you. Screw him. Take his shoes. So he took the shoes, and when he did the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, he wore Alan Thicke shoes.
Yo, that's classic.
That's pretty funny.
That's how you get somebody.
That's something I would do.
Yeah. And TV has like kind of made some issues too because a lot of times you had guys who were building these 5-minute sets just for TV before they even get anywhere. So you have these people who, somebody had made a good analogy. They said that for road comics, we're more so long distance runners. And when you're in the major cities, you're a sprinter. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of these like New Yorks and LAs, and these guys are going up there and they're only doing 5 minutes. So when they get to another city, they have to try and piece together multiple 5-minute sets into a so it doesn't
go together. It doesn't flow.
You know how our sets would flow.
Well, if you'd work with the guys from New York to come into Pittsburgh and they have their 10 minutes on the subway.
Oh yeah.
The New York subway. when you're riding No. We have the T here that most of us have never been on because it only goes to certain parts of the town.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, that's so true.
I've never been on that T. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
I've never been on that.
I've been on the T because it's free when you're within like city limits.
Right.
So yeah, I've been on the T. It's decent. You know what I mean? I know I wanted to shoot some stuff on the tee, but that was about it. Just
Oh,
make it look cool.
Oh, okay, okay.
I did that. We did when I was doing the Jag-Off when I was working with those guys. He was for his porch tour the one year he had Port Authority was a sponsorship, so they wanted us to go on the tee. So we went on the tee. We rode it between the stadium and the next stop, back and forth, and just filmed on there.
Just film.
Yeah.
That's always funny.
Yeah, the one girl left her purse,
So
but she got it back on the next trip through. Luckily, no one walked off with it.
So what's your next moves with stand up? What would you like to do for? 'Cause I always like to ask guys like yourself who've been doing comedy for so long, like, what's your goals after a while? Because when you're new to comedy, or not necessarily even new, like even though I've been doing it for like 12, 13 years and he's been doing it 16, 17, we're still like new in the eyes of some people. So for us, we like have those goals of, I want to get this comedy special, I want to get this, I want to do a movie, I want to do a sketch show. What's your goals now at this point, do you feel?
Well, I'm trying to get this What Aggravates Me going, and hopefully that's going to, I want to do, I'm going to start, it's called Nightway Productions.
Okay.
So I can do, I can write and produce commercials for people.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because a lot of things you see on LinkedIn, the big marketing thing now is if you're a storyteller. And I keep getting these things, learn how to be a storyteller. Well, guess what? I already know how to do that.
Right, exactly, right.
So I want to do that. I want to get more corporate, work more towards the corporate scene. And
That's where the
just
money is actually.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's where you can build your money and your everything about it. Like with corporate, even Sheets. I did Sheets gigs and their pay is.
I've done those.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, thank you, Sheets.
I'm the only one in Pittsburgh that hasn't done that. I hope Dave Settlemeyer's watching this.
Yeah, he will be.
I love. One of the things that kills me though, man, is like you'll look at guys who are doing like corporate gigs and they may not have changed anything in their material or evolved, but like they're getting paid like 10, 15 grand to do one corporate gig, and I'm like, damn, like I'm lucky if I got like 800 for that.
Imagine doing one corporate gig a
for
month.
$10,000. Like I know guys that get paid someone's yearly salary doing just 3 corporate gigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like getting to that place. I mean, you have so much history in comedy. Who were your like biggest influences? Because you told me some cool stories about meeting George Carlin that I thought were like, it was like some of the coolest stuff ever. You know what I mean? To meet somebody like that.
Well, he was. That was when I was 14. He was in his prime, and I went to the Stanley Theater with 2 of my friends, and we were right on the stage. I mean, we literally we bought the tickets the day they came out, and it was orchestra pit seats, and there were 3 wooden chairs at the end of the aisle that we had. And we weren't together. We asked the usher, we said, you know what, we're not together. We're behind each other and we're on these wooden chairs. He says, when the show starts, move them wherever you want. So we moved them up and we were like literally on the stage. And George Carlin, and it was like the hardest I ever laughed at that point.
At 14?
At 14, he was, oh yeah, loved it. And I said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So years later, I'm in Vegas and we're doing the anniversary show. And Richard Denny was hosting, so George Carlin stopped by to see Rich and see the comedians, and we're all standing in the back. He comes up, I guess this is where all the comedians hang out, right? And, so me and this guy, Butch Bradley, hurried up, got his camera, and we got photos taken with him. And he was just walking away. Everyone says, I want to say it to him. I want to say it to him, but I can't. And I said, I'm going to say it. Right. I said, George, you know what? I said, you're the reason I got into this business. Right. I said, I saw you, and I said, this is what I want to do, and you were my influence. And he said, oh, thank you. And he went to walk away, and he turned around and says, well, geez, I hope you like it. Then 3 months later, I'm at Zanies in Chicago, and you go in the back. Have you done Zanies?
I have not, but ironically, I was opening for, what's his name? He does Joe Rogan's podcast. What's my man's name?
Joey Diaz?
Joey Diaz. I opened for him.
Diaz,
And there was a guy named Graham Greene there, and he's a booker for Zanies. And I mean, he and I have been in touch. So
Yeah, it's a
It
great
should be
room.
coming
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you go in. There's the front entrance on Wells Street. It's just an old. I mean, it's one of the original comedy clubs. I think it opened in '78 or
Yeah.
something. And you go. I saw him go in. I go in the back door, and it's a Thursday night. And the guy, Martin's the way it's spelled, but he's Hispanic, so
Yeah.
his name is Martin. And he's standing at the door. He says, "Oh, hello, John." He says, "George Carlin is in the house."
Oh, wow.
I said, "Really?" He says, "Oh yeah, George Carlin." He says, "Not too many other people." And I did, and there was 12 people. It was
Wow.
George Carlin and this woman that he was going out with at the time that wanted to get into stand-up.
Yeah.
And after the show, I did my show for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And after the show, he came up and he says, "Hey John, we tried to move around all the seats to make it look full for you."
Now, did he remember you from the time before? The
Yeah,
3 months
I
prior?
said, "Hey," and then we're just standing out on Wells Street talking
Yeah.
shop, and it was like, I'm standing here, and I said, "What are you doing in town?" And he said, "Well, I'm here doing some corporate stuff, so he wanted to check out the local stand-up."
Yeah.
And I guess the next night they say he went out to see, there was a ventriloquist that passed away a few years ago, Otto and George. Have you ever seen him?
Yeah, I was George.
Filth-
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Filthy, and they said George Carlin literally fell on the floor laughing.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's huge. That's a huge thing.
He's one of my favorites, and it's always cool when, you know, because there's certain guys that I wish that I got a chance to see, and Carlin was one of them, because I remember he passed away right after, it was like shortly after he had his last show in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and I missed it, and I was like, yo, I can't miss another person, so that next go around, I think the following year or something, I went to go see Cosby, because I was like, yo, you never know.
Never know. Right. Well, yeah.
Regardless of the...
Don't you ever see him again?
I'll probably, unless I go to his house.
I don't do comedy anymore.
He gonna be on stand up alone. It's
Right.
echoing in his
No,
house.
you
but-
strained up.
Well, my manager was actually setting up people to open for him.
Oh yeah.
And he had just got in touch with them, and I was in San Antonio, and I got up. It was the day I was flying home, and I got up to catch my flight, and the phone rings 6 in the morning, and it's my wife, and I said, "What?" She says, "Did you hear?" I said, "No, I just got up." She says, "George passed away." I said, "Oh man." So,
Yeah.
That's awful.
yeah.
It was so rough, man. Because you know, in my opinion, like there's 3 comedy kings, and then like I branch everyone else off of those.
Pryor's one of them, right?
Pryor,
I
Carlin,
kind of met him.
Cosby. Who, Pryor?
Yeah, he was in Atlantic City. We were in Atlantic City, and he was there with. You could tell he was. That was when he was going downhill.
Oh, he was going with the MS.
Yeah, and he was at the crap table, and he was just kind of leaning over the crap table, and you could tell he wasn't well. And we went up, the other 2 comics and myself went up to approach him, and his body, "Hey, who?" And we said, "Hey, we're the comedians from the club here. We just, we want to meet Richard."
Right.
And he said, "Rich, it's the comedians," and he just kind of went,
Wave a little wave.
yeah, just gave us a little wave. But yeah, he was.
He was to my
unfortunate
dad's
to see him
birthday
that
party.
bad.
Yeah, I saw you posted that.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad had a birthday party in the 70s, and Richard Pryor's limo pulled up, and he went up to the limo. He's like excited to see it. And Pryor was like making fun of my aunt because she was taking pictures of him on stage. So we have these photographs of Pryor down here.
Right.
And so he goes up to the limo. He's like, "Hey man, give me some skin so I can grin." You know, the 70s.
Right.
And Pryor was like, "I ain't taking no black man on the line with me." So my dad's talking to him. He said, "Oh, I got this birthday party. You got to come to this birthday party." And he's like, "No, I ain't coming." So these fine women come by like, "Hey Terry," because my dad's nickname was Black Fawns because he was so cool.
Right.
They called him the Black
Fawns.
right? So they're like, "Oh, Fawns, where's the party?" And they was like, "Real fine." He said, Pryor stopped, looked at him and said, "Where this party gonna be again?" So he showed up, and it was like some old club Reflections, actually.
That was
the name of the
called?
club. It was an old, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like my dad's the person that introduced me to stand-up. So yeah,
That's cool. So
anytime-
you actually came to the party.
yeah, Pryor was
How-
at the
how-
party.
how-
So, and
cool is that?
you weren't born yet.
No, I wasn't even born. Like all the people, I was born like at the end of Pryor's like everything. But yeah, it's comedy's so interesting because there's so much history behind it and everything that goes on with it.
I was doing one of the last colleges I did. I was working with Augie, you know Augie.
Augie Cook.
So so Augie, they come up, they say, "What's your intro?" And he says, he's open for Drew Carey, right? So he's, and the guy says, so I don't know what's going to be my intro. And he says, so what's your intro? I said, I don't know, Drew Carey opened for me.
Because wasn't he in Cleveland at the time?
Yeah, he was in Cleveland. He used to come into Pittsburgh, do the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
And we would hang out.
One of the owners was his like manager or something like that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, almost drove his career into the ground.
Yeah, well, nobody likes those guys.
Yeah.
No matter where you go in the country, if you mention that old Pittsburgh Funny Bone, I was very fortunate to be able to like be there and perform there before it closed down because I mean it's still a part of history. You know what I mean? That club, there was so much that went into that club and so many people that performed there like over the years, like yourself, Dennis Miller, Drew Carey. I'm trying to think of some other people that like came up and were.
Well, Robin Williams just stopped by one night. The old one, the original on Route 51.
Oh, okay.
Before they moved to Station Square, we told him for years, move to Station Square. No. And then he was in this old building that was just falling apart, and finally he says, I'm going to move.
I'm going to move now.
And he made a gold mine down there.
Was it true what they used to say about Robin Williams and him stealing jokes? And I guess if he did steal your joke, R.I.P. all that respectfully, but still, you stole jokes. I mean,
he did.
I guess you would, as a young comic, you would come up and be like, hey, that was my bit. And he'd be like, which one? And
we walked around with a checkbook.
Yeah, and he'd be like, not anymore. It's my bit.
Who told me that?
Well, I guess he started doing that. There was a guy, Tim Thomerson, that threw him down the stairs at the Comedy Store. And put him up against the wall, and he realized,
can't do this.
Yeah, I better walk around with a checkbook.
Yeah. Here's my
Well, I mean, if you've ever been improvising on stage, when you're working the crowd, I mean, there's very often where something pops in your head, going, "Wow, if I could do this guy's bit right now, it would kill."
It would good, yeah.
But you don't do it.
No.
He didn't stop there.
He just kept going.
He would do the bit.
Have you ever had a headliner do your bit like while they're improvising, or do one of your because that happened to me. Somebody did a bit before I could even go on stage and do the joke. It was in Cleveland.
I've seen that happen with Gary Owen. I was featuring for Gary, and the MC did a Gary Owen joke. Gary very rarely watches. Gary goes on stage and he did the bit, and the crowd, he lost the crowd, and he's like, what the hell just happened? Someone said, the MC did that bit. Gary stopped the show, called him on stage, he's like, where'd you get this from? He goes, I don't know, man, I've been doing comedy like a year. My friend told it to me. So I just did it. Gary's like, okay, well listen, never do it again, it's my bit. He called him out about it.
Yeah.
You have a better lighter.
Yeah, I gotta fix the adjustment on that.
Yeah, hopefully that one works.
See,
It's called Light Up and Laugh, but we don't have working lighters.
My knob broke on here. I gotta send it to Zakar.
Yeah.
So, have you ever had an issue where someone had took one of your bits and you had to confront them, or?
I had a guy I was working with him the whole week, and he come in Sunday. I was in Syracuse. I forget his name, and he came in on Sunday night. He says, I have a bunch of new material I'm going to try out. And it was all the stuff I do. Yeah, it was all my stuff that he had reworked and rewritten. And it's like,
he watched you all weekend and reworded it.
You don't have a bunch of new stuff. That's mine.
I got a bunch of new stuff I'm working out tonight. I'm excited with someone else's bit. I'm trying to think of the worst bit that I've had. I had a couple bits stolen, and one ended up on somebody's project, and I had to put a side by side. Just in case that person.
I remember that. I know who it is. I'm not going to say his name. But you posted that a couple years ago.
Yeah. And
you're like this and this. And I remember the improv was like, well, this person can never work here again.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, he legit took the bit. And someone called me the night he did the bit during his recording. And they sent me a text. And I didn't know he was recording for it. And I was like, whatever. He's doing the bit. I barely do it anymore. And then when the album came out and he was getting praised for it, people were attacking him for using the bit.
Yeah, for
They're
doing
well, are you going to give him the extra money for those 2 tracks that are his? I mean, it happens, but...
well, my thing is this. Comedy's comedy. You're going to only talk about so much, right? The thing is your personal spin on it.
But when
the fact that you do it word for word, that to me, that shows your lack of...
I had a guy up there used to be a club here, Marco Antonio's, and the owner, Dom, with the father, was sitting there. It was an Italian restaurant. It was you would get there and it was a
Oh, I heard about
yeah,
that joint. It was like lobster.
yeah. Rigatoni special and comedian John Knight.
Right.
It's out on 22 and I guess it's Delmont.
Still open?
It's not. It's like it's a
strip
steak.
club.
It's a steak. It's a steak place, and there's upstairs where we did comedy. I think it's like a biker bar or something.
Oh wow.
But there was a guy. He's doing one of my bits, and I walked out and I come back and I said to Dom, I said, how much of it did he do? He said, hey, he did all of it, but you do it better.
Yeah, because I remember Christopher Titus was like, you gotta go up to that guy and punch him in the face. You gotta call him out. You gotta say his name. And I was
Holy
like,
crap.
because Titus is that type of dude. Like, he's,
Yeah.
you know, he'll go at somebody about it. So, what do you feel about? Like
I only threatened one guy,
Really?
but he wasn't doing my stuff. He did. I was in Florida, and he's a Florida guy, and he had all these guys I knew from New York because I was doing New York all the time, and all these friends of mine, he's doing their bits.
Wow.
And he was doing. It was Carvel ice cream. There was a guy, John Rizzo, had a whole bit about Fudgy the Whale was their advertisement, and he's doing it in Florida where they didn't even have these commercials. And I grabbed and I told the guy, and he's arguing with me. I said, man, I should punch you right in the mouth.
Right.
And he says too late. He says, I already have false teeth. He said someone already knocked my teeth out. I said, and you didn't learn.
You didn't learn.
You
Yeah,
didn't
you
learn.
didn't learn. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's so interesting how people are like just stealing these bits and stuff and using them. But someone said you always got to write them faster than they could take them. I remember that was someone told me.
Or just make it personalized.
Well, you
Personalize it to yourself. You can't steal someone's life.
Oh no, you can't. And people will try. to do
They'll
it,
try
you
to,
know.
but you can't steal
Like
someone's life.
if I go on and I
Personalize it.
try and do it, that's why I tell people, you know, it's better to be so personal about this stuff. You know, and I think like because Pryor is such an influence in Patrice O'Neal, over the years I feel my material more so being like personal life situations than just, you know, jokes. What do you feel like the evolution is from like the 80s when people were doing like more jokes to doing like more material about like observations in themselves? Like not just a joke, an observational joke, but like a full chunk bit. You know what I mean? Because like Richard Pryor was like one of the first guys to do something different than just like a joke, in my opinion.
Doing stories.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we could call them like stories. Yeah,
There's a lot of guys doing stories now, but if it's not funny, it's not comedy.
yeah, it's not a good
It
story.
gets to be too wordy,
Yeah.
too long, and the payoff ain't there whenever you got your crowd waiting for it. Stories, you got to be an awesome storyteller, man, if you're going to do stories.
Well,
Yeah,
you have to
that's-
put jokes in
the story.
In the story.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of stuff I do is stories, but there's parts that are funny.
Yes. And that's what you have to do to hold your audience.
And the attention span is so much shorter now
Yes.
yeah, it is.
because people, they're watching you, and I see people, and then they're on the phone.
on the
That's
phone
the most annoying
immediately.
thing, looking
Yeah.
on the phone. And
That's how you lose them quickly.
that's why I don't do ships anymore.
Yeah.
No, actually, there was a woman. It was better when they didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have so a woman's on the phone down front,
Yeah.
and it's a Texas crowd. And I said, so what are you on Facebook? She says, y'all haven't earned my respect enough for you to ask me that question.
Aw.
Y'all. So what would you do? So I trashed her, but
Yeah.
well, I guess I overdid it.
You overdid it.
Because it's not the same. Like in a club, they don't care.
Yeah.
In a club, they're going to take my side. On the ship, she paid
Yeah.
so much money. She has her whole family. She went up and complained. All of a sudden, then
No, it's a big deal.
yeah. So now I'm not kidding. But my wife said to me, she says, I don't. She didn't like me doing the ships, and I was just getting old out there. You know, you're just trying. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
One of the things I regret when I moved back here from California in the early 2000s, and instead of trying to establish myself here, I was just working the road and making money.
Yeah.
And I should have. I mean, there's a lot of people don't even know I exist in this town.
Well, no, I think it's better that you do that because you're such a well-rounded comic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes because I think the thing is a lot of guys get so caught up in scenes that they get lost in that, and then that's all they have. I mean, we watched it
Yeah.
for many people where like, this is it, this is all you have, it's just this scene, and then they go somewhere else and it just does not go well. They can't perform. Like, I had a conversation with somebody and I was just telling them, like, every time you do a different gig, it prepares you for something bigger, because you wouldn't be able to do that gig if you didn't, you know, if you weren't so like well-rounded. Do you feel like do you like the road, or would you rather just, what aggravates me now, get you to a point where like that's...
Well, I don't mind it. I would rather, part of the thing I didn't like about ships is a lot of times the Wi-Fi didn't work. You just feel lost. I mean, you're just lost.
They're just so connected.
You're just, I mean, you just feel like,
yeah.
I've left everything behind. I'm out here and,
Yeah.
and I didn't write a whole lot of ship material, and that's what they said, we're looking for guys that aren't doing, because there was so many guys doing just tiny bathrooms and little showers. And,
yeah. That's how it gets to be.
No, man. I mean, it's...
when I started though, because coming from Pittsburgh, there were guys, most guys migrated towards the Midwest. They took all the work on the Midwest side, and I went more to New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, the East. And I think that helped because they're really tough audiences.
Yeah.
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 You have to be, and I think that's because Midwest, they're just so forgiving.
Yeah, they're laid back.
Yeah, you can just.
They just laugh at anything.
They laugh at anything. Yeah. New York, they sit there and go, you know, they laugh at the first thing. And go, what else you got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, keep it
coming.
coming. Yeah, keep it coming.
Because those are those cities that are cooler than you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
try to act cooler than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's comedy's interesting.
Did you ever do Dangerfields in New York?
No, I have not.
I haven't been there for years.
A friend of mine did Dangerfields, and they were talking about, but I don't hear too many comics doing it like they did back when
No,
it
it
was
was-
like at its peak.
It was there was there and Catch a Rising Star. The Improv wasn't that big of a deal in New York
Yeah.
because it was not owned by Bud Friedman. It was his wife. She got it in the divorce settlement. So Catch a Rising Star was, and it was such a sewer.
Yeah.
You know, you went in there was no door on the men's room.
Oh wow.
But these were the clubs. That's where you went. And if you had a spot before 11 o'clock at night, there was no one there.
Oh wow. Wow. It's late night venue. Huh?
Yeah, but
'Cause it's a city that don't sleep.
I was on Dangerfields one night and I'm doing a set and there was just like one bright light. You could not see literally the people in the front row.
Wow.
So there's this voice from the back starts heckling me and I start dealing with him and I hear a voice and it's an older lady down front and she says, "You're doing fine, just leave him alone."
Oh, that's so classic, man.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
So in closing, man, we wanna say, what do you have anything coming up that you wanna promote?
When's this coming? Check out whataggravates.me.net.
Yes.
Watch for my videos. There's a lot of videos on there. Go to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
I think the one's still on there. They tried to take it down twice. I did one where I did the Tide Pod Challenge.
Yes.
And there was nothing bad about it. It's just me eating a Tide Pod, which I didn't really do. And what happens when you have soap in your system
And your system.
and you get gas.
Hey guys, man. Shout out to John Knight. Thank you for being a
Yeah,
great
the when's this
guest.
coming out? I have a big show. Big show. If it comes out before August 18th, I'm doing. Yeah, it could be out before that.
Yes.
I'm doing the McKees Rocks VFW, going to my hometown.
Okay.
That's going to be a big show with Ray Zawadny.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Is there a show on
Yeah, Ray's a real funny guy.
Yeah, he's a funny, talented young comedian coming up. He's good, man. He's solid.
Yeah, he's good at act. Challenge you have to follow. That's I like to put someone good on in front of me.
Yeah. See, that's old school thinking.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to put someone
Yeah, a
horrible
lot of-
on
yeah.
in front of them so they shine.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So,
And anytime I do a show, I always ask if Rogue could do it.
yeah. Yeah.
Because he just destroys, and I'm like, all right, I gotta work.
You gotta
know
work.
what I mean? I can't
But
go
that
out
makes
too
you a
lazy.
better comic in the end.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
both do that. for
Yeah.
Each other's
For each
shows.
other's
We'll
shows.
Like,
He opens or I open for
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's always.
Yeah, Mike Sisson was telling me that there's a local guy that doesn't like to follow. Told Sisson he doesn't like to follow him. He doesn't like to follow Ray.
Oh, wow.
And
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think
know.
I do too.
I'm not saying any names.
Yeah. But
I
I
want to
hate,
sip juice on it.
I'm innocent juice. I don't think there's anyone. I don't care about following anyone, man. I take the crowd and make it my own.
How you gonna get better? You know,
Yeah.
if you're in the gym lifting 135 on the bench every day, you ain't gonna be able to lift that
Ever.
225.
Ever.
Well, when Dennis Miller left town and got on Saturday Night Live, he came back, and I'm going on. I was middling at the old Funny Bone, and he stops in. And he says, Johnny, I'm going to go up and do 15 in front of you. I said, why don't you go on after me? I said, you're a big TV star. He says, you're only a TV star until you hit the stage.
That's true.
He says, if I'm not funny, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true.
John, man, we appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for the cigar.
Come back again.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
when
much,
the
man.
yeah, because Steeler season will be starting. You'll need guests.
We gotta get some more guests. Hey guys, signing off right now. Light Up and Laugh. T-Row.
Rocky Patel's.
Burn by Rocky Patel, Pittsburgh. T-Row, John Knight, Terry Jones.
Thank you.
All right.
That's a wrap.